Last time on The Simpsons Hidden Gems, I talked about my third pick, Virtual Springfield, a game that was certainly ahead of its time, and I wish it really was released in this time. But for today's pick, it's another rare case of the game no longer being available to buy or purchase or even find. It's one that has the same name that you might think that I'm talking about. It's something that no longer exists, The Simpsons arcade game. But they re-released that one. You can buy that game, I know. But not this version from 2009 where they remade it and brought it out for Apple's iOS for a brief period of download time and taken down as quick as it went up, which makes it my fourth and final hidden gem on my list. It's more of a spiritual sequel than a remake. It's completely different, but uses the same type of themes from the arcade version.
I'd sell my soul for a donut.
As you start the game, you fight through 6 levels with Homer, and you start right here in downtown Springfield. And as you swipe through on the iPod Touch, you can see which levels are going to come up next. But we all know where this is eventually going to lead us.
No!
Mr. Burns' mansion.
Excellent.
But we're not quite at the end. Right now we're at the start. Which brings me back to Homer, as he is the only one that you ever get to control. And you might have noticed that the other family members are missing, and that's because they are, as they've been relegated to cameo appearances, as their face has been placed on these little badges, where you can use them at certain points in the level. You just have to wait for the right time, as they have specific powers to help you when you need them the most.
This is awesome!
You got that right.
What's going on here?
And Homer, he has his own set of moves to groove too, which I better explain before he gets knocked to the ground, because then you're going to have to slap him across the screen with your finger to get him back up again. Ready for more? Yeah, I thought so. Homer's moves start off very simplistic with the basic kick and punch. But as the game plays out and more enemies are introduced, you have to really use his moves in a more smart and strategic way, because then the standard kick and punch will be less effective. You can also use Homer's anger to your advantage, because if you hold the attack button down, he will rev himself up and break through many different barriers. You also have the belly flop, but doesn't do any damage, it just allows you to get away and reposition yourself. You also have the punch and grab and throw, when your enemies have taken one too many punches to the head, as they get a little bit dazed and sometimes confused. See what I mean? More and more enemies will appear on screen and sometimes come out of nowhere, even down elevators. Which is why you have to really think about what you're doing and start combining your moves that you've already just learned as you fight your way through some of these harder levels. You have clowns that really want to honk your nose. Well, they don't really, but you know what? They're not going to get close enough to find out, because I'm going to knock them to the ground with my baseball bat, or anything that I have lying around, because there's so much stuff lying around that you can also throw. Now, this might come as a bit of a shock, but anything you pick up, you can use. So throw yourself right into the action. But beware, because they can also throw a different array of weapons back at you. What I love most about the game are the bosses on each level that you go through. They're very creative and familiar to the show, and they're all unique patterns that you have to work out individually for each fight, because they're all so different. For example, when you come up across Nick Bane, he has some one-liners, just like he would do in the show. Join the club. But you don't actually punch and kick this boss, you can't do anything about that. What you have to do is literally join the club by getting your own club. Oh, well, that worked out in my favour. Now, after each level, you get a bonus stage, where if you win, you get a continue. And on top of that, you can also get a free life when you come across some familiar faces, in the shape of a Homer statue. But once you've lost all of those lives, you can use those continues to continue, because you don't want to start all over again to go through the whole level. Anyway, let's get a move on, because we're at the end of the game now, as we now end up at Mr. Burns' mansion, of course, the big finale, with lots of twists and turns. Well, you can see what I'm talking about, but in all honesty, it's actually all pretty straightforward, and it's a good run to the final boss. depending on who you ask. And they do end up throwing everything at you. But guess what? I can throw things too. But as fun as it looks and feels, we still have the last boss to fight, Mr. Burns. And he's in control, because look at him, he looks indestructible. But I'm sure he does have a weakness. What could it be? Huh, I feel like I did something. I may have made him joyfully mad. Oddly. And I can tell when I do something that people don't like. Alright, let's use one of these continues that I keep going on about. Let's try this again. So what you have to do is hit these big batteries, and if he misses you when he tries to attack you, he hits them too. As you drain his power, you can go over and kick him while he's down, and show him who's the boss. But be careful, the weapons he keeps throwing at you seemingly never stop, until everything he has just drops. We did it! Congratulations! Wait a minute, what's going on here? Okay, great. Now he's got laser beams coming out at us, and they look dangerous. I better make this quick if I want to get out of here alive. Homer's never worked so fast in his life. Now it's time to finish the job and go up to Mr. Burns and show him what he's paying me for, as this has been a long time coming. As I beat him once and for all, we finally now get the donut that we've been looking for. Oh. What a game! And this donut is gonna taste so sweet. And it's pink frosting too. Donuts. You can thank me for saving the fancies, guys. This was only available up to iOS 7.12. And if you do track down the IPA, even if you do sideload it, it may not still work. So it's hard to get and find and play on your device, even if you have a device that might support it. Why do they make things so difficult for us? Why? I don't know why. I wish I knew the answers to everything, but I just talk about what the answers I don't know. And there's plenty of those. Believe me. You've heard me talk for the last moments in time. Could you believe what I'm saying right now about not knowing what I'm talking about? I bet you do. It's the only time that you're actually gonna believe what I'm saying. So that's my list of Simpsons games that you may not have known about. And if you did know about them, well, goody for you, smarty pants. But seriously, honestly, this is mainly just to show that there are actually some Simpsons games out there that you didn't probably know about, because you don't hear about them, unfortunately, that often, because they're not that easy to get anymore for the most part. I wish they were readily available for everybody to buy, at least be accessible somehow, instead of resorting to going through all the loopholes and downloads and searching just to get the games to play on the screen to show you what we could have been playing, but it's not that easy to play because it's not that easy to find. Sadly. But you know what? They are out there. If you want to track them down, go for it, because they are Simpsons games that are well worth your time.
Hey, kids! Before the show, let's welcome our new sponsor, the Happy Little Elves Kids Magazine. Each issue is chock full of games and, ooh, roll the cartoon.
This is actually one of the best versions of the arcade game to play. There's been plenty of different ports for this. You had it on the PC. That's about it, I think. Plenty of other ports. Yeah. Sure. I think we're done here now. What do you think? That's what I thought too. Bye.